archery could soon become the state sport of Missouri, the only state to ever do so. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with how a local archery team feels about the recognition.
Could gas prices get any worse? One financial firm says yes, a whole lot worse. I'm Caroline Shively in Washington. I'll explain coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Joplin police released surveillance images of the suspect's car in a shooting that happened on Monday. Police say this vehicle, believed to be a black Ford Taurus SHO, was being driven by the suspect of a shooting at 5th and Connor. Authorities say it has a distinctive exhaust system and wheels. The suspect has not yet been identified. Police say 46-year-old Kenneth Matthews of Joplin was killed in that shooting. A second victim remains in the hospital in a critical condition. If you have any information about the shooting or vehicle, you are being asked to contact police. Joplin man was sentenced for conspiracy to distribute meth. On November 17th of last year, Jason Russell pleaded guilty to 1 count of participating in conspiracy to distribute meth in Newton County. He was under investigation by multiple law enforcement agencies since 2019. He was arrested after officials pulled him over on I-44, discovered about 2 pounds of meth in his truck. Russell was sentenced to 24 years and 4 months in federal prison without parole. Meteorologist Doug Eddy joining us now. Another hot, humid day today.
Yeah, it was. Temperatures got up there once again during the afternoon after we got rid of the showers and thunderstorms that we had early this morning, and then all the way to about the noon hour. 84 average high is 78 degrees. Any showers, any thunderstorms we had this morning, long gone. These have already pushed all the way into Illinois, Indiana, so we look pretty good for tonight and really a good chunk of the daytime hours tomorrow until our next storm system rolls in. Upper 70s right now. We're not going to drop off too much more than what we're at right now. We do have more thunderstorms in the forecast. We're going to look at that here in just a bit.
Doug, thank you. A Joplin City Council seat is not changing hands. Council candidate Brian Evans last month called for a recount after he lost his race in the April 5th election by only 13 votes. The closest winner, Josh Tatar. Today, Jasper and Newton counties conducted the recount. The numbers in Newton County did not change, but over in Jasper County, the recount shows Tatar won by an additional 5 votes, making his victory by a margin of 18 votes. Officials say this is the first recount in Jasper County in nearly 20 years.
It's not me.
Kansas Republican Attorney General debate kicked off today in Pittsburgh. Candidates in attendance were Chris Kobach, Kelly Warren, and Tony Matavy. The debate was open to anyone in the public. Some subjects in the debate ranged from private property rights, guns, and immigration. KOAM is partnering with other TV stations in Missouri for a series of polls on a variety of topics. The online surveys were conducted last week by Survey USA. So far, we've looked at voting preferences, the economy, and abortion. Tonight, we look at answers to questions about education.
Close to 2,200 adults were asked 3 questions about education in Missouri. The first one, do you think public schools in Missouri are overfunded, adequately funded, or underfunded? 60% of total respondents picked underfunded, 21% said adequately funded, 13% chose not sure, and 6% picked overfunded. Another question, do you think teachers are overpaid, paid appropriately, or underpaid? 70% of total respondents said underpaid, 17% chose paid appropriately, 8% said not sure, and 5% picked overpaid. 80% of Democrat respondents said underpaid, compared to 70% of independent voter respondents and 63% of Republican respondents. Finally, does the state provide a sound basic education for every child? 44% of total respondents chose no. 34% picked yes, 22% said not sure. 42% of Republican respondents picked yes, compared to 31% of Democrat respondents and 30% of independent voter respondents.
In our next half hour, we're going to look at how Missourians feel about legalizing recreational marijuana, also police funding. Missouri lawmakers have given final approval designating archery as the official state sport for local teams like at Sarcoxy High School. This recognition is something they've been waiting on for a while now. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky has more.
Archery is set to become the state sport of Missouri, and archery students in Sarcoxy say they feel their hard work is finally being recognized.
Some of us work our butts off to be where we are.
Sarcoxy High School's archery team is riding high and coming off of a win. and they say this recognition couldn't have come at a better time.
We just came back from the Western National Championship where we did win first place in both the bullseye and the 3D competitions. So there's a lot of recognition there, but the fact that it is now the state sport is going to be recognized all over the state of Missouri, and I'm very happy about that.
The recognition is something Ian Morris, a Sarcoxy Jr., says he'd like to see more of.
We get recognized for what we do, but we don't get fully recognized.
Morris says he hopes this new legislation will give their team better representation.
Well, at the senior awards, archery wasn't recognized as a sport at all, right? So we get congratulated, but we don't get represented.
Sarcoxy coach Keisha Woolsey says she hopes this recognition will have a wider impact on how the sport is perceived in the Show Me State.
I hope that people will really see that archery truly is a sport. Some people don't recognize it as a sport, and I hope that this will help them recognize. I think that them choosing archery as a state sport was a great decision because, one, it's very popular in the state of Missouri now. It's the oldest sport to humankind, but also it helps self-discipline, it helps focus.
As the sport continues to grow throughout Missouri, archers say they're excited about the new acknowledgement. In Sarcoxy, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
The legislation is awaiting Governor Parsons' approval. It has been another rough month for your stock market and that 401k. Inflation is running rampant, impacting the American consumer at both the grocery store and at the gas pump. Biden administration says they're paying close attention to the problem, and lawmakers are trying to come up with some sort of solution. Fox's Caroline Shively has more details from Washington.
Recent economic news is starting to have a bit of a 70s vibe, with soaring gas prices, inflation, and now recession worries. The message from analysts? Hang in there.
The 1970s came and went, and this horrible moment, too, will come and go.
Numbers out Thursday showed unemployment claims dropped below 1% for the first time since 1969.
Employment is as strong as it's ever been. There are more jobs available than there are people to fill them. So we have money, we're spending. The problem is that supply chains haven't come back into alignment. They will.
But small business owners seem tired of waiting for those supply chains to straighten out.
We have been trying to ride this wave and be as reasonable as we can as we go through every week seeing the invoice prices change.
And drivers are looking for relief from gas prices that hit a national average of $4.59 on Thursday.
It's wild, yeah. I usually put in Chevron Supreme, but since it's been so high, I got to go back to the regular most of the time just because it's a lot.
The Democrat-led House passed a bill aimed at fighting oil and gas price gouging, but some lawmakers argue it'll take more than that.
We got to work together on both sides of the aisle. Shockingly, yes, Democrats and Republicans need to work together on the issues facing America.
As expensive as it is to drive now, get ready. J.P. Morgan predicts the national average for a gallon of regular will top $6 this summer. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero. Franklin Huffman served in the U.S. Army from 1969 to 1971. A native of Galena, Kansas, Huffman was stationed in Germany. We are proud to thank and salute Franklin Huffman, tonight's four-state hero. Doug Heddy's next with a complete look at the forecast, and later, Colgan softball aiming to bring home their third consecutive state championship. Going to hear from the team as they prepare for the state tourney in sports.
Well, it definitely turned out to be another warm, humid day for us, and another round of showers and thunderstorms, some low-grade severe as well, as we worked into the early morning hours for us today. Temperatures that keep popping into the 80s. You got the humidity, so it feels kind of muggy outside, and we're going to continue to see that really all summer long. All right, upper 70s right now. We're not going to drop off too much more, maybe 74, 73 for an overnight low. So it's going to be a warm, muggy night. We can go outside 7th range line, sitting at 77, south winds at 10, humidity, it's up there nearly 80%. Any of these thunderstorms we had earlier today, they're gone. They're out of here. They've been racing off toward the east, producing severe weather in southern parts of Illinois and then into Indiana, parts of Kentucky. But again, heading away from us. Here's our next storm system. Look at the rain increasing out across the Dakotas, northern parts of Nebraska. We have a cold front. You can see this wind shift line in central Nebraska. So most of the rain is behind the front. That's what we're going to deal with as we go into Friday night, and Saturday. We are mainly going to get storms behind the front, which lowers our severe weather chances. That's always good news, especially in the month of May. Let's go hour by hour. Let's go through the overnight hours tonight. Partly cloudy, we kind of hold 73, 74 degrees. We warm up again as we go through the morning hours. Here's our cold front. So here's 3 p.m. You can see this little line of clouds. There's just not much moisture along the front. So ahead of it, we're going to go into the 80s. 82 by noon, high temp 87, south winds kind of breezy at about 10 to 20. Now, along this front through the evening hours, we are going to get a few isolated thunderstorms. Very low severe threat, but it is there. As we go through the evening, you can see that front presses into our southern counties. So as the storms really get going, that's where the severe threat is going to be. I would say southern Ottawa, Delaware, Benton, McDonald, Barry County, and points south. But look at all the showers and thunderstorms picking up tomorrow night into Saturday morning. Some heavy amounts of rain, but not much in the way of severe weather. We do have a threat. We have mainly just strong thunderstorms, and a few of these, like you can see this cluster here, could go low-grade severe, but these are mainly just going to be good old showers and thunderstorms. So now we're Saturday at 10 a.m., still scattered showers and thunderstorms into the afternoon. So a little bit on the wet side if you have outdoor activities on Saturday, but this will clear out as we head into Saturday evening, and then Sunday looks like actually a pretty good day. Rainfall amounts with this next system just over the next 36 hours. I think a lot of us are going to pick up ½ an inch upwards to an inch of rain with this next system rotating through. 87 tomorrow, 74 on Saturday, 45 Sunday morning, 64 for a high, and then we kind of creep back near 70 next week, but also plenty of chances for thunderstorms.
You said it once before, those classic summertime pop-up storms.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It is what it is, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Hey, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the Koam Skywatch weather app. You can get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store, also the Google Play Store. All you have to do is search for the Koam Skywatch weather app. Coming up, investigations into this baby formula shortage.
The FDA commissioner on the hot seat on Capitol Hill Thursday as lawmakers investigate the nationwide baby formula shortage. I'm Mather Rivera in Washington with details on that hearing coming up.
First, here's a look at our tower camera, sponsored by R.E. Smith Construction, as work continues on the KOAM More Power project. Check it out anytime on our website, koamnewsnow.com/power. Angry lawmakers trying to get to the bottom of the baby formula shortage going on. The FDA commissioner was grilled during a House subcommittee hearing today, but there appears to be no quick fixes. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera reports from D.C.
Fireworks in Capitol Hill Thursday. Lawmakers demanding answers from the FDA commissioner over why it took months to investigate a formula plant in Sturgis, Michigan that had contamination issues.
We need also to get to the bottom of FDA's slow response, potentially putting babies at risk and forcing parents to play a game of Russian roulette.
Abbott Laboratories closed the plant in February. It's one of the main factors driving the current crisis.
It was just like nobody did their job here.
The FDA says the facility could reopen as soon as next week. And the commissioner is also pushing back, arguing the formula supply chain has been under strain for a long time.
Unless we make the right investments in our infrastructure, including technology, data, people, and a modernized supply chain system, we will continue to see shortages and problems across the industries we regulate.
Meanwhile, the White House is scrambling for solutions. President Biden invoked the Defense Production Act, requiring suppliers of key formula ingredients to prioritize delivery to formula manufacturers. The White House also authorizing the use of commercial planes to bring formula in from overseas as parents seek relief.
My family's from Mexico, so they're coming next week and they're bringing some formula from Mexico. If my family didn't come, I'd be very, very worried.
Congress taking action as well. 2 bills that would increase access to baby formula and give the FDA $28 million in emergency funding to address the crisis are now headed to the Senate after the House passed them on Wednesday. In Washington, Mather Rivera, Fox News.
So ahead, a new report showing why a previous Afghan army collapsed so quickly, and how ISIS and Al-Qaeda are regrouping. We have new government reports tonight detailing multiple failures occurring at the end of the Afghan war, which led to a chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan last August. Among the assessment, new intelligence that shows the U.S. mainland could soon be the target of a terrorist attack from Afghanistan within the next year. Fox News national security correspondent Jennifer Griffin has the story from the Pentagon.
It's time to end America's longest war.
Well, we've had very good success in talks with the Taliban.
Stay there, stay there.
Two new Inspector General reports that focus on the chaotic withdrawal from Afghanistan paint a damning picture and outline why the Afghan army collapsed so quickly and how ISIS and Al-Qaeda are regrouping in Afghanistan. The DoD Inspector General assesses ISIS-K is gaining recruits and could strike the U.S. homeland within a year, and Al-Qaeda could begin training in Afghanistan within 12 to 24 months.
That seems to me like a problem.
We noted that groups like ISIS-K could try to reconstitute themselves. We are watching this. We are monitoring this. We're not just sitting idly by waiting for another group to be able to develop a capability.
The second report from the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan Reconstruction blames the failure of the Afghan security forces on the U.S. military building an Afghan Air Force that relied on U.S. maintenance and contractors who were withdrawn suddenly in the wake of the deal signed by the Trump administration in February 2020 and President Biden's decision to announce a full withdrawal in April 2021.
We have left them, and as our study finds, with tons of weapons, bullets, and equipment, but no logistics to get that equipment. When we pulled the contractors out, their Air Force collapsed within a matter of weeks.
The report outlines how President Ghani and the Afghan government were left in the dark about many aspects of the deal with the Taliban.
You had a paranoid president who was more concerned about what he thought was going to be a coup. He started replacing a lot of competent, Western-trained military commanders and replaced them with people who were loyal to him, even though they may have been incompetent.
The way the U.S. pulled out demoralized the Afghan soldiers, according to the report, allowing the Taliban to convince them to lay down their weapons and stop fighting. At the Pentagon, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.
All right, paper planes and some really good paper plane makers. I'm going to take you to this worldwide contest next. All right, so we have a couple of fun stories here. According to this next story, we should say to pugs, honey, I love you. I love you with all my heart. You just have a lot of issues going on. British study says breeding pug dogs to get that specific pug appearance is bringing more health problems to those animals. Researchers say pugs have increased risk of disorders such as airway problems, skin fold infections, and obesity. Scientists say the breed is no longer a typical dog from a health perspective, but despite risks, pugs remain popular. We love you so much. The American Kennel Club ranks pugs 28th most popular out of 204 U.S. breeds. All right. The hobby of kids everywhere is back as a worldwide contest. Paper plane competitors and fans of fun aerodynamics from around the world gathered in Austria for the Red Bull Paper Wings event, the first since 2019. Look at this. That's solid craftsmanship right there and skill. The competition is considered the World Paper Plane Championships in throwing distance and aerobatics or throwing maneuvers. Listen here, a competitor from Serbia won for distance throw at over 200 feet, and a plane thrower from South Korea won an aerobatics competition. That's impressive. All right, 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. Special training event teaching how to effectively stop bleeding, knowledge that could save a life.
Ukrainian fighters continue to leave a steel mill as fighting in the east ramps up. Greg Palka in Kyiv. That's my story. Come in.
Well, after an accident, big or small, being able to stop a wound from bleeding could be the difference between life and death. That's exactly what instructors at Freeman Health System taught the public today. Instructors taught people how to properly apply pressure to wounds with their hands and how to effectively apply bandages and tourniquets.
There's opportunities that you can even save a life in your own home. Whether you realize it or not, somebody could stop, fall, and have bleeding that occurs, whether they hit something or trip, they could cause bleeding, and you're saving a life even at home before you even know it. And so the tools are very valuable. It's a matter of you don't know when you're going to need them, and if you're prepared, you're better off than having the knowledge.
Now today is National Stop the Bleed Day, and May is National Stop the Bleed Month. Some local students made a donation to help children. Members of the National Honor Society and McDonald County High School donated $1,100 to Children's Miracle Network. The students organized a color run last month for Nora Beechner, a child with a rare disease that needs ongoing treatments. Nora is the 5-year-old daughter of the school's counselor. CMN representatives say the money will go a long way to helping kids in the area. Survey USA recently conducted a poll in Missouri about the upcoming August primary election. KOAM is partnering with other TV stations in Missouri to report on these series of polls. This one, the second one tonight, of course, focusing on police pay and legalizing recreational marijuana. Close to 1,800 registered voters were asked, should the use of marijuana for recreational use remain against the law in Missouri or legalized? 62% of total respondents chose be legalized. 25% said remain against the law. 71% of respondents ages 18 to 34 and 35 to 49 chose legalized, compared to 59% of respondents ages 50 to 64 and 46% of respondents ages 65 and older. 76% of Democrat respondents want recreational marijuana use in Missouri legalized, compared to 66% of independent voter respondents and 49% of Republican voter respondents. Close to 2,200 adults in Missouri were also asked, does law enforcement need more funding than it now receives, the same amount of funding it now receives, or less funding than it now receives? 53% of total respondents said more funding, compared to 21% who chose the same amount, 10% for less funding, and 16% who picked not sure. 34% of respondents ages 18 to 34 chose more funding, compared to 46% of respondents ages 35 to 49, 62% of respondents ages 50 to 64, and 73% of respondents 65 and older. 71% of Republican respondents wish law enforcement received more funding, while 50% of independent voter respondents and 42% of Democrat respondents chose this option. Now you can visit our website for many more details of this voting poll, KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. Tomorrow, we're going to see results from polls asking people about if they overall approve of President Biden's performance and if they would re-elect President Biden or former President Trump. The rate of existing home sales declined last month to the lowest level since early in the pandemic. The National Association of Realtors says the median price of a home rose to a record $391,200. Sales declined last month and were nearly 6% lower than a year ago. Leaders from Sweden and Finland met with President Biden at the White House today. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has driven both countries to apply for NATO membership. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Pelcott has more.
NATO's door remains open.
President Biden offered the United States full support for Sweden and Finland's NATO bids. The president met with leaders of both countries today after they officially submitted applications to join the military alliance. If talks go well, approval of the bids would bring NATO right up to Russia's border. That's a move President Vladimir Putin has warned could face consequences.
New members joining NATO is not a threat to any nation. It never has been. NATO's purpose is to defend against aggression. That's its purpose, to defend.
Here in Ukraine, Russia continues its bombardment in the east. Ukrainian forces have made gains around the city of Kharkiv. They've also blown up a bridge in order to prevent Russian advances. The Russian forces are still gaining traction in the Donbass region. At least 3 civilians were killed in an attack yesterday. The shelling continued this morning.
We are in constant communication with the Ukrainians about what they need on a almost daily basis. So we already have some thoughts about future systems and material that'll go.
Meanwhile, more Ukrainian fighters have left the besieged steel plant in Mariupol. There are growing fears about what could happen to them in Moscow's hands as Russian officials consider possible war crime charges.
All our military and civilians stand together to defend the homeland. Therefore, the longer it takes, the more we will defend the country.
And today, the Senate voted to pass a $40 billion aid package for Ukraine. In Kyiv, Greg Palcott, Fox News.
A bit later, animal rights.
Do animals have human rights? I'm Ashley Strohmeyer with a look at the legal battle raising this unique question and the elephant at the center of it all coming up.
Well, it turned out to be another warm, muggy day for us today. Temperatures past couple days well into the 80s for highs. And we're going to continue to see this as we head into Friday. And then we'll cool down just a little bit as we work into the weekend. All right, temps right now, most of us are still sitting upper 70s to near 80 in Chanute. We're only going to drop off into low to mid 70s for overnight lows. 7th range line sitting at 77, a south wind at 10, humidity is at 80%. All those thunderstorms we had this morning, gone. All the way across Illinois, parts of southern Indiana. But here's our next storm system already waiting in the wings. This is going to rotate in as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow. You can already see the cold front, this wind shift line right about Omaha and then points west. And this is going to roll in as we go through the daytime hours tomorrow. So tonight's fine. When you wake up in the morning, tomorrow morning is fine. Most of the day looks good. We heat back up into the 80s for afternoon highs. Here's your day planner starting at 73, 82 by noon. Slight chance for an isolated afternoon storm, a little breezy, south winds 10 to 20, high temp of 87. All right, here's the cold front. Here's 3 p.m. It slides really through by 5 or 6. It gets into the metro, and along this front, we may get an isolated storm or two. But showers and thunderstorms increase tomorrow night. If there was anything severe, it looks like it will mainly stay in our southern counties, but periods of showers, thunderstorms throughout the overnight hours tomorrow night into Saturday morning. Most likely, these are just going to be good old storms. We may get a random low-grade severe storm, but most of the really unstable air is in northwest Arkansas. Continued periods of showers and thunderstorms really through the daytime hours on Saturday. You can see 3:30 in the afternoon, and then this system pushes east, and then we look pretty good. By Sunday, we are shaping up pretty nice. Now, rainfall into Saturday morning, so this is really just tomorrow night. I think a lot of areas will pick up a half an inch, maybe upwards to an inch of rain with this next little system, which is going to rotate through. All right, 87 tomorrow, 74 Saturday. Little cooler Sunday. Look at this. Start at 45, 64, but a nice day. 66 Monday. Thunderstorm chances return Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Now, if we look at severe threats, I'm going to keep it very low tomorrow into Saturday. We'll watch next Wednesday, and then here's Memorial Weekend. So starting the weekend looking pretty good. Most of the weekend looks pretty good. Severe threat returns on Memorial Day, goes up for June 1st, kind of sticks around that whole week, so you can kind of see we still have plenty of severe weather chances as we go through the next month or so. But overall, I don't see a high threat, which is good news.
You know, within the past few weeks, you've really done a good job on the YouTube page.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Something that's new, fairly new. When severe weather strikes, you want to stay informed. You can do that by opening up the picture app on your phone and scanning this QR code. It's going to take you to the KOAM News Now YouTube page, where our weather team is going to live stream during severe weather events to give you updated information. While you're there, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. Coming up in sports, 2 local college baseball players earning all-region recognition, plus Crowder hosting a send-off for their softball team before they head to their first national tourney since 2013. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
The Colgan Panthers are back in the state softball tournament. The Panthers will play in the 2A state bracket starting next Thursday, looking to bring back their 3rd consecutive state championship. Now, Colgan earned their spot at state by winning a regional championship on Tuesday. They won that regional as the 5 seed, beating both top-seeded Northeast and 2nd-seeded Uniontown along the way. Now, this group of seniors has watched the last few graduating classes go out with a ring at state. They're ready to try to do the same thing next weekend.
I definitely want to bring a white banner for my end of senior season, so it's motivated me a lot, and as a senior, you know, it's on my shoulders this year, and so it means even more.
This senior class has, you know, participated in all of our past state championships and have the experience on the field and have been there, and their leadership for our younger girls has been wonderful this year.
We have a pair of local college baseball players earning all Central Region honors today. For Pittsburgh State, first baseman Garrett McGowan is a first-team All-Region selection. He did a bit of everything for the Gorillas this spring. McGowan led the team with a .399 average, hitting 20 doubles, 18 home runs, and driving in 79 runs on the year. He also had a perfect fielding percentage at first base, earning all MIAA Gold Glove honors. McGowan now advances to the national ballot for All-American consideration. For Missouri Southern, starting pitcher Logan Van Wyk is a second-team All-Region pick. The Webb City High School product went 7-3 for the Lions. Actually led the MIAA in strikeouts this season with 123. He threw 2 shutouts and held opponents to just a .199 batting average for the Lions. The Crowder College softball team will hit the road to Yuma, Arizona on Saturday for the Junior College National Tournament. Today, though, Crowder hosted a celebration and a send-off for the team. Our own Danny Terzer was there, caught up with the Rough Riders as they aim to bring back a national title.
We know we can compete at any level. We play the toughest, hardest, largest schedule in the country every single year. And so when it comes down to the year end, if we can get to the postseason, we know that we can accept the challenge and meet the challenge at any given point.
Seeing the community here today, I think it's going to help us boost our confidence and know what we're going down there for. We're going down there to win and represent Crowder.
The last time we've been to Nationals, I believe, was in 2013. We've had 3 other phenomenal opportunities and just missed out. We've had a lot more depth probably this year than we've had in the past.
I'm so proud of you guys. You guys are awesome. You really are.
I feel like we have something to prove, and going to Nationals and winning a few games, I think it'd be something great.
You better bring back the championship. Those sleds will be waiting for you if you don't.
It's been a long season, and this has been our goal from the very beginning, so just to get to this point is very, very exciting. It's just, you can't hardly put it into words.
That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Years after shutting down its 3-ring circus, the greatest show on earth is making a comeback. Ringling Brothers and Barnum & Bailey Circus announcing plans to reopen in fall of 2023. The Florida-based company says it's currently conducting a global talent search. It needs performers for a new production that's being billed as an interactive experience featuring audience engagement. Rehearsals for the new show will start next month for a tour that will kick off next year in September. Ringling Brothers says the tour is going to have stops in more than 50 North American cities. Now, the new show comes after Ringling shut down production after years of declining ticket sales and costly court battles over allegations of abuse involving its elephant acts. A unique legal battle is quite literally addressing the elephant in the room as attorneys in New York argue over whether human rights apply to animals. In the case of one of the Bronx Zoo's elephants, Fox News correspondent Ashley Strohmeyer explains.
A gentle giant is at the center of an ongoing fierce legal battle over whether animals are entitled to the same human rights as people. This is Happy, an Asian elephant who's called New York City's Bronx Zoo home for the last 45 years. But attorneys representing animal advocacy group, the Non-Human Rights Project, say Happy should be sent to a wildlife sanctuary, accusing the zoo of keeping her isolated from other elephants.
The deprivation of the bodily liberty is being confined in alone and in a 1-acre pen.
Lawyers are using habeas corpus as one of their main arguments for Happy's release. The legal term refers to the process where someone can claim a person is being illegally imprisoned, resulting in a court review over their detainment, raising the question, will the New York State Court of Appeals consider Happy a human?
Elephants aren't just autonomous, but they're also cognitively complex, emotionally intelligent, altruistic, highly communicative.
It's a sticky situation because New York State's habeas corpus law doesn't define what or who is classified as a person. But judges fired back Wednesday.
So does that mean that I couldn't keep a dog? I mean, dogs can memorize words.
While also questioning the difference between Happy living in her zoo enclosure and living in an enclosed elephant sanctuary instead. Attorneys for the Wildlife Conservation Society at the Bronx Zoo maintain Happy is in fact happy and healthy. Court proceedings are expected to continue. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
Coming up, preview of a new sci-fi series coming to Prime Video. Legendary actors teaming up to travel to another planet in a new sci-fi series coming to Amazon Prime Video tomorrow. Here's Fox's Kristen Goodwin with more.
I've never told anyone this.
in my whole life.
J.K. Simmons and Sissy Spacek are guarding a secret in Amazon Studios' new sci-fi drama, Night Sky. The acting legends play retired couple Franklin and Irene York, who are hiding a chamber in their backyard that leads to a mysterious, deserted planet. But their quiet lives are disrupted when they find a young man passed out in the space bunker who is key to unlocking its secrets.
Who are you?
She's searching for answers. She has been so devastated by the loss of their son, Michael, and the fact that they found this thing in their backyard at the same time that they lost their son has convinced her that the two things are connected. And so she's been just waiting for a sign from the universe.
I love you, Irene.
Simmons says the show is more than just science fiction. It also explores the love story between their characters.
Franklin's whole purpose in the story is taking care of his wife. Irene has been recently not completely healthy, not completely mobile. They're obviously both getting up there, which was a challenge for both Sissy and I to play older characters. His partner, his wife, his whole world revolves around her.
And when it comes to other life in the cosmos, Spacek believes we're not alone.
There's got to be something. And I think that most people are fascinated by the mysteries of the universe. And I think we all want to know. It's kind of part of the human condition to wonder what's happening out there.
This is our riddle to solve.
Night Sky premieres on Amazon Prime Video on Friday. In Hollywood, Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
And that's our time for tonight. Stop talking, Doug Hetty. We were talking about the movie. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you tonight with video of a pangolin at the Prague Zoo. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then. All right, Doug, you can talk to me now.